Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited tonight to have Jacob Nathaniel Rudin. He's a classically trained composer and a pianist turned multi-flautist, producer, and sound healing practitioner, having created electronic and acoustic music in a wide variety of contexts since 2012. He works in both the healing and contemporary music worlds, drawing on a rich sonic practice that involves experimental sound design, field recording, and virtuoso performances on a wide range of instruments. He currently lives in Brooklyn, New York, where he teaches piano lessons, hosts regular sound baths throughout the city, and gigs with his band, Nathaniel. Welcome, Nathaniel. Thanks for joining. Can I call you Jacob, or what would you
Thank
prefer?
you.
Okay.
Jacob's fine. Either
Yeah.
way, Jacob's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks so much.
So tell me all about how, like, when you started out as a child, was were your parents dancing around and singing arias and your stuff like that, or what was your background on music?
Um,
None of that.
kind of. So no, my parents are not musical.
Yep.
Not really at all. I started with the compulsory piano lessons as a kid,
Ah.
and I sort of liked it, sort of didn't. Uh, some of my earlier musical memories are of some CDs that my dad had sitting around, and also
Oh.
some that he bought me. I was huge into Motown and early soul. Marvin Gaye, Al Green, all
Mm.
the
Hmm.
Motown singers.
Mm.
And that was my first. That was the first music I really fell in love with.
Nice.
Uh, when I was like maybe 12, I picked up the guitar. Still not like a huge music person. I was into sports because I wanted to be like my brother.
Ah.
And when I was in eighth grade, I got injured playing
Ouch.
football, and I tore my meniscus,
Oh.
and so I was out for the season. And while I was out for the season, I started playing piano a little more seriously, and I realized this is better than playing football for a wide range of
You don't get
reasons.
injured as often.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually good for your brain as opposed to you know. So I didn't play football next year, and I instead got more serious about playing the piano.
Mm.
Piano was my first serious instrument, I guess.
Yeah. And were you classically trained even as a kid? Is that what you went through as a kid? Yeah.
Yeah, after a certain point, um, I started taking classical piano lessons maybe when I was 15. I
Mm.
was more like a pop songwriting was an interest. So I played pop music on the piano and wrote songs, and then eventually got into playing classical music.
So you were writing songs even before
And
classical
then,
music then. Is that true?
yeah, I was writing songs I started writing songs when I was 12,
No kidding.
and I think
Yeah.
I did it obsessively through middle school,
Hmm.
and then got into some more, I don't know, electronic-y, maybe jam bandy stuff when I was in high school. And
Mm.
then I played on a friend of mine, Leanne. She was taking classical composition lessons, and she wrote a piano trio for piano, oboe, and cello. And I played on that.
Wow.
And then I was like, this is cool.
Very cool.
Can I meet your teacher and study with? And I ended up studying with her teacher. And then I ended up going to school for classical composition.
Nice. And at that point, when you said you went to school for it, you mean the college, right? I assume. And then at that point, were
Hmm.
you were you pretty much convinced that that was going to be your career in life, or is that where you invested
Yeah,
yourself in saying, "I'm going to be a musician my life"? That's a big decision right there, actually. Yeah, that's great.
it is. Yeah.
That's great.
And they don't tell you what's involved when you make
No.
that decision. Kind of exploring. I started a band that we'll hear later, Primal Feelings, with my best friend,
Yeah.
who finished actually. Yeah, and I ended up going back to school a few years later for music technology.
Oh, good for
Um,
you. Excellent. Yeah, I see you got a bunch of
yeah,
synthesizer stuff on your left there.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Excellent.
Thanks.
So, we have a variety of music here going back to the beginning, but why don't we play something more recent, which is near and dear to you called Heart? You want to tell us a little bit about the background on that?
Yeah, it's from my latest album called
Mm-hmm.
Genesis, which is
Mm-hmm.
a healing kind of meditational ambient music album.
It's beautiful,
Um,
beautiful.
it it's the development of an organism from birth to death.
Oh,
So the original concept of the album was it would be like a chakra album. I conceived it with a friend of mine who's a yoga teacher who I work with,
okay,
Leslie
excellent.
Graves.
Yeah,
And the album was supposed to body the feet to the head, hitting the sacral chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, all the kind of points up on the center line.
yeah,
And the more time I spent with it, the more I realized that as much as this exploration of space and the body, it was an exploration of growth and progression in
yeah.
time.
By the way, when we listen to this, well, first of all, let me share with people your website. So this is a cool website. Hang on a second. Let me share
Okay.
this. And
Thank you.
it's literally NathanielSound.com. And great picture of
Mm-hmm.
you there, by the way. And a lot of the stuff we're going to show is within the site,
Thank
although
you.
some things are not. And I will say that it may be, I'm just going to warn people tonight, that it's possible that we will hit some ads along the way, even though I try to prep each one of them. Some of them are on YouTube, and you can never tell, the ad may pop up in the middle of it. So we'll get rid of it in the archive, but we may see it tonight.
Mm,
However, great website, by the way, and a lot of great content in there. When you go to Heart, one of the things I love
thank
about
you.
this, yeah, one of the things I love about this is that in the background, you'll see this heart pulsating. And I'm just curious, how did you do that? It looks like I guess you must have had some kind of a visual artist do that for you, I assume, right?
Yeah. The artist I worked with on the album art, Daniel Barreto, is an incredible, incredible animator and graphic designer. And
Hmm.
so he did all that.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Well, let's play Heart. Here we go. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. I could really see, you know, every spa in the country, every massage place should have that music in the background. It just makes you just melt. It's wonderful. How do you go about even
Thank
thinking
you.
about what to do? Do you have a do you do it like intellectually on paper? Or do you kind of feel it? Do you hum it in your head first? Everyone has different ways of doing it.
This music, I just go right into the software and start recording.
Hmm.
Usually I'll start on the synthesizer and
Uh-huh.
I'll make just some drones.
Hmm.
Um, Once I have the drones, which are just, sustained single notes,
Yeah.
then I'll add the first instrument. I'll kind of play around on top of it, see what works. Usually start out with a ton of reverb and just try to make it all sound flowy
Yeah.
and mesh together. I think on this one I probably started on the piano,
Hmm. How many different
kind
instruments
of
do you
piano
play?
centric. Um, I don't know.
Now, I want to ask you this too. How did you get into the flute? We haven't talked about that yet. We talked about guitar, piano, but what got you into the flute?
When I was in eighth, so I played saxophone in middle school
Oh, you did.
in like
Okay.
jazz band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was a senior in high school and I was done with, like getting into music school and I don't know, just kind of looking for something to do,
Hmm.
I started asking around looking for a clarinet because I wanted to play clarinet. So I was asking people if they had old clarinets sitting around that I could buy off of them.
Nice.
And all I found was a flute. So I just was like, all right, I'll buy the flute.
That's
So I
fate.
bought the flute for $40
How
and
much? Did you say
40,
$4?
40,
$4.
40
Okay.
bucks. Yeah.
40 bucks.
And I could not get a sound out of it.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing with, I think, the flute because by the time I was able to get a sound out of this instrument, I had kind of bonded with it. It was
You
like
know, that's
this.
interesting. I heard that you have to like 70% of the breath is wasted in the flute. It doesn't go like it's hard to play the flute as it is the tuba, I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
As much air, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
ton of air. It's
Yeah.
just so much air. You're so lightheaded. At the time, I was a smoker, so it was like a lot of air for me.
Oh God.
And yeah, so I was just, super lightheaded, and it was this intense process getting a sound out of the instrument. I don't know how people learn it as a kid. I mean, it's hard
Wow.
to learn as an adult. So
So you bonded with it, you're telling me. It really
yeah,
became one with it. Yeah, that's wonderful.
yeah, and the more you play it, the sound itself changes with you,
Hmm.
and it becomes more embodied. Like you can feel in your body what you have to do to make the sound change.
Yeah.
It's not like pressing I love the piano, but the piano you don't have the same kind of like physical
It's like an
feedback with.
organic bond. It's almost like a part of your body in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah. That's very cool. I have to admit, playing piano, the problem with that is you can't carry it with you. So, one time I had a gig and
that's
I went
true.
there and some of the keys literally were stuck. I'd have to lift them up as I was playing, as I was playing. So, just crazy. Anyway, uh, I digress. But by the way, one more thing that came to mind is when you talk about injuries. The only time I heard of an injury in the piano, I'm interviewing a woman in 2 weeks that actually was playing at a smoky bar and someone was drunk and they went to talk to her and they slammed the cover down on her hands. That's gotta hurt. So that's the
Oh
only
my
actual
god.
danger I heard of getting injured at the piano. But otherwise, it's a pretty safe thing otherwise. But
Yeah.
so
Oof.
this one goes back over 10 years ago. It's Lord
Mhm.
Nathaniel. Do you want? It's a very avant-garde
Yep.
piece. I love it. We're not going to listen to all of it, but just give people a taste of like some of the experimental things you did in the past. Do you want to give us a little background on that?
Um. Yeah. This must have been the summer of like 2013 or 2014.
Something like that. Yeah, and
I
it
had a
looks like you're live, but it's processed too. Yeah,
right. It's pretty processed. This
yeah,
was in Buffalo, New York. This guy Sean, who performs as Legion Reed, he made the video, and I did a duo with a dancer, so I would play like stacked keyboards with a little drum machine, and then she would dance.
yeah.
Um, yeah, this was one of the things we did
And it's
together.
called Monk Sesh. I guess Sesh is for session, maybe. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
what. Yeah,
that was his thing, Wong
yeah.
Sesh.
All right, we'll check this out.
Let's get comfy. Kind of like bend our knees a little. Warm up. Maybe our shoulders back. Forward. Good. Now we're gonna keep our legs straight underneath. Tuck our butts in. Stand perfectly straight. And now bring your arms like this. Good. Push elbows down. Push shoulders
So great finger work there, man. I love those arpeggios. That's not easy.
Thanks.
It's really
I
nice.
don't ever remember it. I don't ever remember getting it down that well, actually.
Oh no? And I love your bass line. It's very nice.
So
Yeah, yeah,
thanks.
yeah. Okay, so much for that. Now we have one here, which is a dance film called Sleepers. And by the way, I love the flute work on
Mm,
this. It's just absolutely beautiful. So anything you want
thank you.
to do you want to talk about before I show it to the audience here?
I made this music with my friend Stephen Gordon, who's a great
Mhm.
actor and jazz pianist. And then we collaborated with a filmmaker named Natasha Minier, and this was in Los Angeles, maybe in
Oh,
2017.
oh, really? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Here we go. That is probably one of the coolest dance sequences I've ever seen, where they start out lying on the ground and then get up.
Yeah.
That's just, oh my God, that's just such a cool thing.
Um, but it's great, you know, great choices.
Yeah, but you're
Um,
playing the flute in there, obviously.
yeah, and I did all the production stuff, all the electronics and
Oh,
beats
excellent.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
which is most of it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah,
Well, he came up with the bones, you know, he came up with the chords, I think is where we started.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I guess I don't go to theory first. I'll go to theory if like I have an issue I need to resolve. Usually I'll go for feel.
yeah.
And when composing something that uses harmony, I don't always use harmony. Like for example, when I like Heart is a piece that's just the whole thing's on one chord, and that whole album, each piece individually is just, you know, a single
Oh, no kidding.
sonority. Just
Wow, because
yeah,
it's not boring at all. It's very interesting, even though it's all one
I
chord.
appreciate
That's cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, usually I'll feel it out on the piano, or I'll come up with the melody and then I'll harmonize it on the piano. I don't have like amazing, oh, I can just hear a chord progression in my head skills,
Yeah,
but
got to play with it. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
find some of the most interesting things, because I do a little bit of writing myself, is I'll just move notes around and come up with different chords, and sometimes deliberately move them out of the scale and that
Mm,
sort of thing. But yeah, it's great. The good news is what you do sounds great. So obviously you're doing something right. So now this next one is a little
thanks.
scary. It's called Primal Feelings Ghosting. You want to give us a little background on that one?
Uh, yeah, this was like our biggest project. This is my best friend Marios. We were in a band, Primal Feelings, for like 4 years together. We um we moved to Minnesota to start the band, where I moved just having visited and really liking the city and liking the music scene. And he followed me, and and we made the movie there. There's like a really solid, supportive art scene there, and we were able to put together a really solid group of people to make this thing happen. Um,
And what, I'm sorry, which town was
yeah, I
that
don't
again?
know.
Which
Minneapolis,
Minneapolis. Yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. And so how long did you live there?
just a year.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What brought
I
you out
I
there?
personally I wanted to. I had driven through there, and I had a few friends there. The
Hmm.
cost of living was so low. When I moved there, I was working for my friend's dad, building houses, like doing
Hmm.
construction. So I had this job lined up, and
Excellent. Yeah.
yeah, um, I was 22, and I was just like looking for somewhere to go, I guess, and
Yeah.
that's
Well,
where I ended up.
it's a fun group, and it's an interesting little movie we're going to watch. So let's set this up. It's
Mm.
quite fun. Primal Feelings. Looks like a fun party.
It was a fun party, yeah.
Yeah.
Grieving over situations when it ain't resolved. Scared because you thought her feelings also had evolved. You got to somehow get an answer before your head explodes. But your phone ain't got no feelings, baby. She ain't got no time for maybe. Rejection is a luxury you cannot afford. Seems like she's a ghost then. Ghost then. just to know reality in 2016 can feel harsh, it can feel mean. Asking about rejection means you're already rejected. So you move your feet, move your body. Before you know, you don't care that she's ghosted. Soon you'll meet another one and do it all again. Except now you ain't feeling it, so you're stressed out in the head. Oh, but you don't wanna hurt no feelings, don't wanna explain yourself, so you ignore her invitation and you leave her on a shelf. Now it's you who's ghosted. You're the one who's ghosted. Now it's you who's ghosted. Don't care that she's getting in touch. Getting in touch. Getting in touch. Getting in touch. Getting in touch with the primal human feelings of rhythm.
Yeah, relationships are scary.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean,
Um,
I wish,
you know, yeah.
I wish somebody had advised us against the use of the bow ties, but
Oh, I love the whole thing, especially at the end when the girl's eating the cookie. I thought that was
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. She's our
all the
choreographer.
drama
Yeah.
as she's
Really.
eating a cookie. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of subtleties in that, a lot of fun. So, how did you even put that together? I mean, did you?
It was a big, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We did a GoFundMe. We raised a bunch of money for it. We had a bunch of people work for very cheap, but we're very free.
yeah.
Um, a lot of students involved.
Hmm.
Connor, the director, like was incredible organizationally. We had some friends. The space it was filmed in was this DIY house venue called Y World. We were friends with them. They graciously agreed to host it, so we didn't have to pay for a location. And we had that amazing house.
Yeah.
Um, Funny thing, I remember in that first scene where we're tied up uh, on the chairs. We were tied up in that position for like an hour and a half,
Oh my God.
and the pain of that was like they just left us there. Like the cameras weren't ready. They decided to tie us up before they got the cameras ready,
Oh,
and
jeez.
they had this technical problem. So we're just sitting there like in agony, and we're like, "Can we just get out of it?" They're like, "No, it's perfect. It's perfect." So
Jeez.
it was like, oof,
At least it wasn't 6 hours of makeup. You hear some of these war stories of
true.
people that are in makeup for like ever. I don't know. I can't sit still for 8 hours. I don't know how they even did it.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know. Yeah, true.
Well, this next thing is called Welcome to the Sun. Nice.
See you, bar full of people, but they don't really care. You're looking right through me, like I'm a mirror. You were so bashful, underwhelmed and bored. I asked you, can you hear the sound within the sound? Can you feel my pulse now? Over, you took me by my shoulder and my hand, said, baby, come with me. You took me to your river. Older, you taught me to go further than before, beyond all our troubles, under the moonlight. Sun, sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Come on, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Come on, make yourself at home. Sunrise, streets full of people, they're trying to get to work, but we're still here breathing, trying to find a way to escape. Take off, passing by the moon, and we're tumbling through space, beyond all our troubles, over the moonlight. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Come on, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Come on, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, make yourself at home. Welcome to the sun. Welcome to the sun. Come on, make yourself at home. Sun, sun.
I love that. You know, back when they was all this done on film, they used to actually that pixelation technique. They'd literally have to take every frame of the film and paint it with that thing. I'm sure they didn't have to do that here. It's probably all digital, but it's an
No,
amazing.
he did.
Did he
He
really?
did that. Yeah. This was
God.
incredibly labor
Oh
intensive.
my God, that's a wild ride right there. Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. A lot of fun. That was a very upbeat piece. Now, that's something you wrote, or you collaborated with him, or how'd that work?
Yeah, we wrote it. Marissa and I wrote it.
It's
Yeah.
a- yeah,
We wrote it together.
that's a
Um,
great. That's a great piece. Now, I
yeah,
wish we could
the
play
story.
everything else we had lined up, but we only have about 20 minutes left. But should I
Okay.
play all of Crown of Rays, or maybe part of it?
Um, yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Part of it.
Okay, great. Give us a little background on that one.
That's from Cosmic Flute, which was my first kind of flute forward album.
Uh-huh.
This one was in the works. This piece in particular was in the works for years. It had a lot of different versions before it became what it became.
Oh, no kidding.
I think it's the most epic track on the album for sure.
Now I love the fact that you call it that you have Trash Head Productions. I don't know what the genesis of that idea was, but it's pretty cool.
Oh, we made a
Uh,
music video out of this? I don't even remember. Oh my, yeah, okay. Here we go.
yeah,
This
I
music
think
video.
so. I think
Yeah,
so.
I
We'll
think
find
we
out.
did. You're right.
Yeah. All
Wow,
right,
I don't. Yeah,
check this
okay.
out. I love that. Just great. I could see you touring and having these dances on stage with you. That'd be really wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, huh?
That'd be very
Thanks.
cool. Yeah. So now
Oh,
this next thing's very short, but I want to show it because I think it's cool. This is you playing with a snake. I don't know the background on this, but it's a short 30-second thing.
hmm
Uh, yeah. Does that look a little scary? Is that possible that thing would bite
it
you, or is
was.
it pretty tame?
Apparently, it was tame.
Yeah,
It was scary for me. I didn't enjoy that, but
yeah, yeah,
it took a few takes for me to like not
yeah.
run away. like a few takes of me running away.
Oh my God, talk about danger. So,
Yeah.
so now this next thing is called Nico's Exorcism Dance, and
Uh-huh.
this is off this album with the horse. What's this called? The one with the horse?
Cosmic Flute Rides
That's
Again.
Rise
This is the
Again. Yeah,
second Cosmic Flute album.
yeah, it's cool. Let's enjoy. Nice. Now for something completely different, let's talk about When the World Wants to Stop. I think that's from a different album, right?
Yes, it is. Movement in the Tunnel.
Yeah. Is this
This
your
one,
latest?
this is
This your
not my
latest?
latest.
Oh, it's not your latest.
This
Okay.
this one I guess is the second most recent one to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I was approached by the label that I currently work with, Youngbloods, to come up with a concept album, basically.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided to make an album that is recorded exclusively in train tunnels.
Oh,
And
really?
we recorded
Wow.
this one. Yeah. So this one's recorded in a freight train tunnel in New York, in Brooklyn. And if you
Okay.
listen closely, you can hear the subway going by in the background. That's kind of my favorite
Interesting.
part.
Okay, here we go. When the World Wants to Stop. also sample quickly movement in the tunnel, which is another piece you have.
Okay.
Is that
Yep.
like the cover song, perhaps?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
the way,
That's what
are you also humming while you're playing the flute at the same time?
yes. Yeah. That's what's happening there.
Wow, I didn't even know that was possible. Okay, so this is movement in the tunnel part 4. Nice. Okay, now this last piece is, I think this is from your most recent album, Transmitting
Hmm.
Unraveling. This is from
Yes.
Octogenesis?
This is Genesis.
Ontogenesis, yeah. Oh, I was mispronouncing it. It's octo. It's ontogenesis. Okay, that's why. Makes a lot more sense now. All right.
Octogenesis is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
I like kind of
Okay, so this is ontogenesis, transmitting, unraveling,
that's
communion. And is this part of the series that you use for your sound baths? What you call your sound baths?
yep. Yeah.
Excellent.
This one I'll include a little less often because it's got more of an arc to it. It's a little
Yeah,
less soothing maybe and a little more introspective and deep in a way, a little
yeah.
exploratory.
Now, when you say transmitting, unraveling, and communion, is this specifically about the the the, the growth of the human body, or what are your thoughts on that?
It's the throat chakra, so
Ah, okay.
I guess it's a place where both you're expressing yourself and you're letting things out, but also um kind of a place where stagnant emotions end up.
Fascinating.
So it's about unpacking it so that you can, you know, let it out and be with your surroundings.
Yeah, here it is. Obviously, should keep going. Very nice.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to ask you, you have an interesting tattoo on your right shoulder. It looks like a maze. Is that
It is a
is it
maze, yeah.
is a maze? What's in the middle of it?
What's in the middle of it? Well,
Yeah,
it comes from Carl Jung. It, it's uh it's about kind of the middle is like the core of yourself, I guess. So,
nice. Yeah, I'm sorry we can't have a Q&A with you on Thursday night, but I have a few questions for you that I'm sure people would want to know. And one of them is, uh, what's the best way for them to support you? Do you have should they buy your music online someplace? Should they just make sure they have you on Spotify, or what's the best way for people to support your music?
I mean, if you're able to buy my music on Bandcamp, or that would be great. If you don't buy music, which I understand, just follow me on your streaming platform of choice, and
Yeah,
you can listen to me there. All my music's online.
excellent. And tell me about these sound baths. Do you have some coming up?
I do. I have, um, let's see, I'm doing music for a yoga class with Kevin Bigger, which is one of my favorite classes that I work on
Nice.
this coming Saturday. I believe that's the 18th.
And where's that held?
And then that's at Kula Yoga in Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following weekend, I'm at All Souls on the Upper East Side. That's
Excellent.
going to be at 1 p.m., I believe. And then
And
the
are these listed
following
on your
weekend,
website? Are they listed on your website, or what's the best way for them to find
these
out?
they're mostly on Instagram. I
Okay,
should probably put them on my website. They're mostly on Instagram.
on
Instagram is where
Instagram.
I
We could
post my goings on.
so we should encourage people to go to Instagram and find you there. Excellent.
Yeah,
Good.
that's a good idea.
Good. Anyway, I wish I lived closer because I'd love to go to one of your sound baths. It just sounds amazing, and this music is quite inspirational. And keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to seeing keeping in touch and seeing how you're progressing and what else you do over time. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming from you in the years ahead. So really appreciate what you're doing. And
You,
yeah,
yeah,
Jacob, thank you so much for your time. But this has been a wonderful hour,
yes,
and I'm going to post it, of course, on my Spotify podcast account and also out there in the universe on YouTube and get the link to that. But thank you so much for this. This is a lot of fun doing some
lovely.
great stuff.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
For having me. Such a
Have a
pleasure.
great night,
Yeah.
everyone. Take
Good
care.
night.